3 of the 4 of you are without a contract for 2019. So let's start with that topic, and perhaps you could just tell us the latest. Let's start with Esteban, please.
Yeah, that is true so far. I still don't have a news to tell you, unfortunately. For sure, I am trying to get a seat for next year. But if I don't, I will be sitting on the side. But the sure thing is that I will be back for 2020, and I will push my maximum to be back in 2020 anyway.
Thank you, Esteban. Lance, if we could come on to you.
Well, right now, yeah, I still have five more races to go. So I'm going to take it weekend by weekend. And yeah, we'll see what the future holds.
Okay, and Stoffel?
So far, not much news from my side, to be honest. Yeah, I think Formula 1 seems very unlikely, obviously. And like I said last week, there's been a lot of talks with different series, different teams, and there's a lot of possibilities. So I hope I can tell you a bit more in the next couple of weeks.
Sebastian, given that you've finished behind Lewis at 5 of the last 6 races, how do you personally, as a driver, keep your confidence up? And do you head into this weekend really thinking it's now or never in terms of the championship?
I don't like the now or never approach. I don't think there's much sense in that. I didn't know it was 5 out of 6. Now I know. So the secret before just now has been not to count. No, I think you attack every weekend. Every weekend is different. The track's different, and the circumstances are different. So I'm very happy to be here. I love this track. It's my favorite track in the world. So I'd better enjoy it and not spoil it by starting to count things that probably are against me and focus on the things that are working for me.
One of the highlights, certainly for us, observers of the Sochi weekend, was seeing you and Lewis going wheel to wheel. And he spoke after the race about how much he enjoys the challenge of racing against a driver of your caliber. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on him. How much are you enjoying the challenge of racing Lewis Hamilton this year? And in what areas does he impress you the most?
Well, first of all, I think you always enjoy when you race somebody on track, and you tend to enjoy more when you come out ahead. So I'm sure he had more fun last weekend than I had. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's tough to have a wheel-to-wheel battle on the track. But then if you do, then you appreciate it a lot more. So I think it's been intense races and challenging races we had, but not that much wheel-to-wheel racing. As I said, I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it probably as much as he did. I would have liked it to last a little bit longer for more laps, but that was probably the only chance that we had. Yeah, I mean, apart from that, obviously, it's always difficult to compare. These days, I think racing is very different to maybe the way it has been many years ago. You don't spend much time with each other. Even though you share the track for all the sessions, you don't see each other very often until the race. And then even in the race, it depends how the race unfolds. But I think it's also fine like that in a way that some races are more intense than others. I think if every race would be intense, then they would all be normal again. So, yeah, but naturally, obviously, you enjoy it a lot more when you come out on top.
This is the 30 times Memorial Grand Prix, Japanese Grand Prix. Do you remember the first time to watch the Japanese Grand Prix on TV?
Well, one I remember was when Kamui was racing and got the podium.
12?
Which was 2012.
2012,
yeah.
yeah.
It's quite late, but yeah.
Sebastian?
I watched all of the races that Michael ran later with Ferrari, but I always fell asleep on the second part because it was very early, and usually he was in the lead, and yeah, it was sort of clear after half the race or after the first couple laps. But I remember the one where when did Ayrton win here? Yeah, this I don't remember. I was 1. Later he didn't. 1, yeah, or something. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that one then. I mean, 88 for sure not, because that would be unrealistic. I was 1 year old. But 93, that sort of makes sense. That's the first memories anyways. And I remember how he lifted the cup. And I think the cup here is beautiful as well, the trophy. So it was the same back then than it is now. So yeah, I remember that. Not so much the race, but I remember the moment on the podium. So.
And Sebastian, do you get a kick that the track is pretty similar to how it was back then when Ayrton was racing on it?
Yeah, I do. I think it's one of the. I mean, it's my favorite track, and I think it's one of the original tracks that haven't been messed with. I think it's like Stoffel described earlier. I think the feeling you get inside here in the car is probably the best all season. When you throw the car from one side to the other up the hill, and then you've got some really, characteristic. How do you say? Iconic. Yeah, thank you. French. Iconic corners like Spoon. 130 are nowadays maybe not as tough as it was back then, but overall it's a great track.
The first thing that come in my mind is always the fight Alain against Ayrton Senna, obviously in the last chicane, and also first corner the following year. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. For sure, historic stories.
That the strategy group has discussed changing qualifying into 4 queues, and then so it will be 4 out, then 4, then 4, and then finally leaving 8 for the final Q1 shootout. What do you think about that? Will it make any difference? Will it help you? How do you feel about it?
It could be a good challenge for the midfield teams, So you would have 2 drivers being in Q4, so it could be fun. But then I don't know how it would change things for the top. It would probably be the same.
Well, without going too deep, my personal opinion is that nowadays I think we need too much entertainment to be happy. I think it would be nice to settle for something less as well. So my preferred qualifying was back in the days when they had 1 hour and you can do what you want. Obviously, qualifying for some people will never be as exciting as the race, but for other people it's more exciting than the race. So depends on your taste. But I think it's about getting the perfect lap, and I don't think it matters how much qualifying sessions you have. So now we have 3, and the one that most people look out for is the last one. So if you have Q4, Q5, Q6, Q7, not what's going to change. So.
Not much to say to that, really. I don't think this is the biggest problem so far. Like Seb says, I think we don't really need to have an extra session. Okay. We're out in Q1 anyway, so it doesn't change for me.